Do you want to travel the world but feel like you don't have enough money? Do you want to really connect with a country and its people but feel like a normal vacation just won't cut it? Do you want to learn a language through immersion instead of just reading through a textbook for 2 years? What if I told you that I had the answer to all of these problems? Hi, I'm Jordan Cho, a backpacker and a polyglot who loves to learn languages and travel deeper. And this is how I ended up spending an entire month in Lucknow, India. Google's AI overview actually gives a great definition of slow travel. Slow travel is a mindful approach to travel that emphasizes experiencing a place deeply, rather than rushing to see as many sights as possible. It involves staying longer in one location, immersing oneself in the local culture, and building meaningful connections with the community. So I made my way to Lucknow, where I arrived pretty late and took the metro all the way to the Airbnb I rented for $340 a month, which also includes free breakfast every day. If you don't already know, you can rent an entire house or apartment, but you can also rent a room in someone else's house, which can allow you to meet and connect with locals much easier. So I decided to stay with a local family, and the mom is actually an Urdu teacher, so I'll be able to practice my Hindi as well since it's practically the same language. So follow along as I show you one day in my life as a slow traveler in Lucknow, India. But first, a house tour. Okay, so this is the room. Got the bed, my desk over here. So I do work, my mirror. I got a yoga mat also to do yoga for like $8. This is the bed. It's like the funny two twin beds that are squished together. And so I pretty much only sleep on this side and I just put my stuff on this one. Little place to put my clothes, and then the bathroom. It's a bucket shower because this shower thing doesn't actually work. Got a water heater and the toilet. And yeah. Here's the dining room. And here's the front guest room area. They're always watching like Bollywood series on this TV here, which is kind of fun. Sometimes I join them. And then they also have a maid that comes every morning to come and clean, to sweep and mop all the floors, and another maid that comes and helps and cooks some bread every day. So, pretty fun. One thing I love about slow travel is the slow mornings. I can wake up naturally without an alarm and make sure I do something good for my health and for my body every day by doing yoga or even working on my handstands. Then I can have my free breakfast while catching up on YouTube and basketball highlights. So now I'm gonna take a shower in my little bathroom here. But the problem is this shower head doesn't actually work, and the water heater in this bathroom doesn't actually work either. So, gotta take a bucket shower, but we gotta go to the other bathroom to get some hot water. But now we have to wait for like 10 to 15 minutes for the water to warm up. Okay, just finished. There we go. Usually I just have this one bucket, and it seems like a lot of water, right? Like it's a pretty big jug. But what's actually crazy is this is actually a lot less water than a normal shower takes. This jug is probably what, like 4 gallons maybe? But the average shower takes about 2.5 gallons per minute. And the average shower in the US, I think, takes about 17 gallons, which is like 6.5 minutes or something. So I'm only using a fourth of that. The Airbnb host actually does offer meals for about $2 per meal, but I do like exploring, and the meals outside are actually cheaper than that, if you can believe it. So let's go get some lunch and then we'll come back and do some work. So one of my favorite things about India, and why I've come back 3 times now, is that it just makes you feel so alive. There's never a dull moment. There's always something happening. You can walk anywhere and there'll always be something crazy that you've never seen before. It's like New York, but they're not trying to be crazy, you know? It's just naturally is crazy. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of the streets as I walk to get some food. So got a bunch of fruit and vegetable vendors out right now. They're actually usually up all day. This is actually like the calmest it ever is because it's like 2 p.m. right now, so it's after lunchtime, but before everyone gets off work. So right now we're gonna get this thing called an egg roll, which is like one of my favorite things in India, which is kind of funny, but I'll show you what it is here. दो डबल एग रोल लूँगा। My egg rolls, and I got 2 of them for 80 rupees total, so it's 40 rupees each, which is pretty good, less than $1 for both, for my whole lunch. And usually I like to watch some YouTube while I'm eating, so that's what I'm gonna do. Well, the power's just gone out again for like the 3rd time today. Usually it only happens like once every couple days for just like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. But today, 3 times already. So, and now you might be thinking, okay Jordan, slow travel sounds nice, but why did you choose Lucknow and not somewhere else like Paris or Bali? Well, basically, over-tourism is destroying the world. It is destroying nature. Thailand, which received nearly 40 million tourists per year, had to close down one of their top tourist destinations, Koh Phi Phi, for 4 years after they found that only 8% of the coral reef was still intact. It is destroying culture because of the number of tourists and the kind of tourists that visit places like Egypt and Morocco. In many places, the famous Arab hospitality has devolved into aggressive vendors and scams where friendship with locals is dependent on how much money you can give them.
Excuse me!
It facilitates gentrification. In places like Hawaii and Barcelona, land is increasingly bought up by massive companies and hotels, and locals are increasingly pushed out until a city of 1.6 million people receives 16 million visitors per year, and it becomes impossible to befriend locals because they are all bitter towards any foreigners. And now, back to Lucknow. I also wanted to get a haircut today, so we're gonna go get like a traditional outside Indian haircut. Well, I showed him the kind of haircut that I wanted, and he said go to the salon instead, so I guess I'm not doing that one. Well, right now it looks pretty funny, but we'll see after I put gel in it if it looks any better. This might be one of the worst haircuts I've ever had in my life. But, you know, sometimes that's what happens when you go for the experience. You can see like the sides right here. He like made it so it goes like super far out. Look like a freaking UFO on my head, but oh well. So one of my favorite parts about slow travel is that you get to meet random local people while you're here. So the last thing on our list of things to do today is I actually met this girl on Hinge who's starting a clothing company, and so we're gonna go meet, we're gonna do a photo shoot, and that'll be it. So pretty.
Thank you.
Okay, we just finished the photo shoot.
Yes, and it was so fun. So fun.
So now I just got back from the photo shoot and it was super fun. And yeah, that's pretty much a day in my life here in Lucknow. Mostly just editing YouTube videos, getting some street food, and trying to meet random friends. But it's a pretty fun way to live, in my opinion. I love slow travel. I love going to places and staying there for a month and trying to like really get to know the place. I love the feeling of like being a local at a restaurant and going there, and the people working there always recognize you and know what you want. It's a really fun feeling, especially in a different country, in a different language. I don't know, something about it is exciting. And especially because if you go to the same place multiple times, like usually if you only go to a restaurant once, people won't really care about talking to you. They'll look at you funny and then move on with their lives. But if you go to the same place multiple times, people will start talking to you, and gives you opportunities to practice your language skills and also maybe to make friends. So there are a ton of things that I absolutely love about slow travel, which is why I keep doing it. However, I am not going to sugarcoat it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes people see my videos on YouTube or my posts on Instagram and they say, "Wow, Jordan, you're living my dream life." And don't get me wrong, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. But there are also a lot of days of extreme loneliness. Days where I sit alone in my room editing on my computer all day. Days where I wander the city and explore by myself, not talking to anyone besides the food vendors I order from. And anytime I have cool experiences or find peaceful or beautiful places like this, I always wish I had somebody to share them with. And I do love meeting so many interesting and cool people and having friends all over the world. But it's also hard to maintain relationships or to have deep friendships when you only see people once a year. Humans crave connection and community, and that is something that is much harder to find as a solo traveler. But despite all that, it's still my favorite way to live. I love learning and truly experiencing new places, and slow travel allows you to learn deeply about the world that you can't really do any other way. So yeah, try slow travel.